Hey everyone, welcome to the I Am Possible podcast. I'm Nicole and I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, welcome to the family. And if you're a regular, you already know what's up. This podcast is all about breaking barriers, shifting mindsets, and celebrating the incredible individuals from the disability community who are rewriting the rules on what it means to live boldly. So grab your favourite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into some stories that are going to give you a fresh perspective. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get this conversation started. Thank you so much, Shelbee, for joining us today. I'm very excited to chat to you.
No worries, anytime.
So, in 10 days' time, where will you be heading off to?
Oh, it's crazy. Still surreal, very surreal. But yeah, we fly off to Colombia, ready for the World Cup. So we're really excited, really excited.
Super exciting. And for anyone who doesn't know you yet, what's your role in the England Amputee Team?
So I'm kind of the veteran, as they always call me, as I've been around the longest. So I was the first female that started playing amputee football in the country, and for 4 years was on my little lonesome as the little sister of amputee football. But now I've become pretty much the grandma of women's amputee football. So we started the women's team back in November last year, and it's just gone from strength to strength, and now we're off to a World Cup together. So it's been an incredible journey, and a journey that I've looked forward to for a long time.
Yeah, it must feel wild as well. Like looking
Yeah,
back to it's 4 years that you spent kind of paving the way for everyone else to now be
definitely.
here, like flying out. It's exciting. And I remember
Yeah,
last time we spoke, it was a few months ago now, you guys were looking to raise funds to get yourselves over to
yeah.
Colombia. How was that journey for you as well?
Well, that's been a bit of an emotional one as well, to be fair, because it was we've had so much kind of happen in the sense of it had been building and building and building, but it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that we had a BBC breakfast segment, I think that's what it's called, that was released about the women and our stories and stuff like that. And we were on 24,000, which is amazing. 24,000 is incredible. But we needed to hit the 50 to get us to the World Cup, because Colombia's not around the corner. It's expensive to get the players, the staff, stuff like that, and to get all the equipment, get the kits, stuff like that. So we were trying to keep pushing on the campaign and the fundraising. And we had a few big names reach out and help share our story and share everything. And we now hit the 60k mark, so it's been absolutely incredible. And to have people like John Terry get involved and Rod Stewart, and it's just been a wild ride, but it's been incredible. And to share it with the girls has been next level, just amazing. And it's just made us more excited, because we'd stressed about it for so long, going, we might not even make it there, but now that we have, it's been incredible. And we had Muslim Aid reach out as well, who have helped us as well. So it's just, we've had such a high support from the community, like nationwide. So it's been amazing. And now we hit the target. Now we're going, and hopefully we can bring back some medals. That would be nice. But we're just excited to go over and make so many memories with the girls and just start history, really, because it's the first ever time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really exciting. And like, why do you think that it's taken so long for like women's amputee football to pick up?
I think in the sense of I think it's the same as women's football in general. When we were growing up, I played football, like able-bodied football, and it wasn't a career choice. It wasn't something that I could focus on going, right, I'm going to work my butt off to be the best I can to get in the best team, sort of like that. But it was, you had to have a backup career. So I had my teaching career, and I had going into the police as a career and stuff like that. So it was a hard balance to find. But now that women's football is a profession, young girls and women can aim for that career and that journey, and it's amazing. And I think it's the same now with Amputee Football. It's the women are starting to catch up. And if it's anything like normal women's football, we'll take over in no time. And I think that's kind of catching on already, that we've had some pretty big people want to get involved because obviously we're awesome. So it's been amazing. I think it's just going to go strength to strength now. And we've got some little juniors coming up. And yeah, it's just been going to be amazing. I think after the World Cup as well will be a massive kind of opener for a lot of young girls and anyone that just wants to get involved in football in general. It doesn't have to be an amputee, any, disability, able bodied, whatever it is. If you love football, there's a way to find to get involved with it. So it's, I think we'll get there. It just takes time in general with women's sport, I think, as a whole. But we're getting there. We're taking over the world. So the men have to get used to it.
So I was going to ask, how did you find your current team now? How did you go about finding players?
So I knew about amputee football before I was an amputee. During my first cancer, I met at a conference we did with the Teenage Cancer Trust. I met at the time, England captain and England goalkeeper. And they came because the captain, Ray, who I'm really close with now, which is crazy, but he had cancer as a kid as well. So he'd come and spoken about his journey and going into amputee football. And so it was something I knew about and I thought it was awesome. So I kind of followed it before I became an amputee. So as soon as I'd had my surgery and knew that that was an option, a possibility that I was going to lose my leg, that straight away I knew that Ray was the person to go to. And he kind of set me in the direction of my local amputee team, which they say local, but we had to go to Peterborough. So that was the first team I joined. And yeah, like I say, I was the only female that was there for 2 years. Then we moved over to Chelsea and now we're kind of making the international women's team. So it's just been a lot of social media, a lot of campaigning, a lot of reaching out to, new people. And Annabelle, who's one of our players, she does a lot of modelling because she is proper fancy and she's got the face for it. Thankfully, one of us has. But a lot of those girls as well do a lot of modelling as well. So it's nice to kind of rope them in from the same community, but different aspects. So we've had players that have never even played before. We've had players that never watched a football game before. It's a complete new concept, and it's just amazing that we get to share that with them. Because I do have a footballing background, so it's nice that I get to share that side of my life with them and bring what football brought to me for so long to them and an outlet for them. So yeah, it's just been amazing and a lot of campaigning to get the word out there.
Yeah, definitely. And you say you coach juniors as well?
We look after like the 2 to 6 year olds. It's good. I absolutely love it. And the kids just are incredible. And just being able to enjoy themselves around other amputees and, having young amputees there that can share the journey with them. It's just amazing to see and see their little faces light up when they're with people that look like them. The parents are getting looks because their kid's got a really cool leg. Or I don't know if you get it the same, but they're like, where's her leg gone? Or it'd be your arm like, hey, and depending on the kid, depending on the story you give, of course. But Clarke is definitely the one that they like. You've got to like deliver to the audience. And if the shock story is the one to go with, I'm gonna
You got to give them what they want. Yeah, that used to be my go-to one, like a shark for sure.
the easiest one. It's the most believable.
That's it. I mean, maybe not for the England, but I'm just scared when I get in the sea in England that there's a shark. So that's why I go surfing in like a fake pool.
Yeah. Well, one one of my kids once went, "What C was it?" And I was like,
Excellent question.
that is a very good question. That put me on the spot. That was the only time I've been put on the spot. Normally I'm quite good at singing them back at them, but no, that time I was like, one with water?
One with the sharks.
Exactly.
That's funny. And yeah, like you kind of mentioned as well about your journey with cancer. And like, would you mind sharing a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I was a healthy 18-year-old, due to go to America on a football scholarship, kind of had everything laid out, that was the journey I was going on. And then I was quite poorly for 6 months that we couldn't work out why. I kept going to the GP, was told it was in my head, it was just a normal teenage thing, it was all these different things. And I had a lump on my lower back where my pelvis is, and was told it was just a muscle spasm, that I was fine. But we know our own bodies, and I knew something wasn't fine. And it got to the point where I was screaming in agony most days, and mum just was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I can't keep watching my daughter in this much pain. So took me down to A&E, and within 20 minutes, doctors were here, there, and everywhere. And yeah, I got the diagnosis 2 days later that it was cancer, and we found out that it was Ewing sarcoma, which is a super rare, teenage cancer. And so I went through treatment and stuff like that. So I had a radio and chemotherapy that year. Got quite poorly with meningitis, and every other illness I wanted to pick up along the way. But then after a year of treatment, I got the all clear, and then I went to uni to do my teaching degree. And at the start of my second year, during my cancer checkups, we found out the cancer had returned in my pelvis again. So they couldn't do the surgery that they did. They couldn't do the treatment they had done the first time because of the original cancer. So we had to go for the surgery route, and that was removing the left side of my pelvis. So I've got like my spine and then just the ball and socket. So there's nothing connecting it. So I have a lot of movement with the pelvis that if I now I'm sat on my right side, but if I was to sit on my left, it kind of moves. So not ideal. Or when you sleep and roll over onto it, not ideal. Apparently pelvises are really important. Who would have known? Great. But yeah, so I had, surgery, and didn't go to plan. Shock with me. Was kind of expected, but I then had 8 more surgeries where I got, really poorly. I had sepsis and meningitis again, and, I was really poorly, and we didn't know, I didn't know what, if I was going to see the next day because of just how poorly I got at the time. I had a big abscess under the cut and stuff like that. So it was a journey for sure. And then 18 months later, they were able to finally close my back because I had a big hole in my back for 18 months. So they were finally able to close it. And due to the original surgery, it left my leg paralyzed because of the complications from it. So I couldn't use my left leg from my shin down. And the plan was that they were going to amputate below the knee so that I still had my knee to use. But this is me, and we don't do it that way and don't do it the easy way. So I kept trying to push for this amputation because I was bedbound. I couldn't do anything. I was, bedbound in my mum's living room for 2.5 years. So that's never fun or never ideal when you're, how old was I? 20, 23, 24. So not the best time to be in mummy's living room, but you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, so I finally kind of was getting to the point of, my back's sorted. Now let's do my leg. But they kept giving me a lot of pushback on it because they saw it as like a healthy leg, which it wasn't. I couldn't do anything. But yeah, so they had one of my cancer checkups, had an MRI scan, came out. My hip popped out because whose doesn't pop out all the time? So as I popped it back in, the joint caught the artery within the leg, and it caused a major blood clot to the leg. So I was kind of kept in Bedford Hospital because they kind of didn't know what to do with me because they didn't know what it was that was going on, and I was screaming their agony. Got finally taken over to Adam Brooks, which is over in Cambridge, and they had to sedate me to have a scan because it was just so much agony, and they found the major blood clot in the artery. So I hadn't had circulation to my leg for 3 days. So that was a lot of toxins that built up in my foot and in my leg, and so that's why they had to go above me. So I got me and little Bruce just up top, and Bruce is a fan favourite. He is the shark of the team, and everybody loves him. So it makes the shark story very valid. It helps that he looks like a shark. It works perfect. But yeah, so me, cancer, and blood clots are quite close. So they keep a close eye on me for some reason. So I've got a lot of checkups throughout the year and stuff like that. But it helps put my mind to ease, and I think it puts everybody else's to ease as well. So been alright, but I say it a lot in the sense of I say F you to cancer, but then I also thank it in a sense, and I don't think there's many people that do, that thank cancer, because without it I wouldn't have the life I have today. The experiences I've had, the people I've met, it's just been incredible. The cancer side isn't ideal, but everything that comes with it has been an absolute blessing, and the experience that I get to now talk to others about and help even them through their own experiences, and just help out in any way that I can, really. And I had a friend that I grew up with, she was diagnosed with leukemia, so I was kind of the go-to kind of questionnaire sort of person, and I love that. The first patient I met, Shannon, we became really, really close, and she was my person. She passed a couple of years later, which obviously devastated us, but now getting to be that person for someone else, it means a lot. And I turned 30 in 3 weeks, so it's not a birthday I thought I would see to begin with, let alone get to celebrate with a group of incredible women over in Colombia at a World Cup. So I count my blessings every day, and cancer sucks, it really does, but it's brought me a lot of love and joy to my world as well. So it's a very love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's weird, isn't it? Because I often do that. I reflect on stuff that's happened, and you kind of like, I never look back and think, oh, I wish I hadn't had that
Yeah,
happen, or like I could never actually delete that from my life, even if it was really hard, because you learn so much from it, and
yeah, absolutely.
it brings so much, even if it is really painful. Like I can't imagine like the journey that you went on, and it sounds like football was there before and
Yeah,
after that
yeah.
journey.
Football's always been my safe space. It's always
Yeah.
been the place that I go to be myself. As a lot of the girls know, because I'm an absolute ADHD bouncy ball, basically. So yeah, football's always been where I've always felt most comfortable. Growing up, I'm one of 8 kids, so we were pretty much all footballers. Having 4 older brothers and 3 younger sisters, I was always out with the boys playing, and then the girls got involved as they got older. But football's always been the love that I've always kind of had in my life, and anytime I've struggled, I've just gone football and gone out for a kickabout, and it's helped massively. And help coaching the kids is just another thing that I adore, because I get to bring them that safe space where they get to come and just have fun and not worry about everything else that's going on, because realistically the world sucks. Like, life's not easy, but if I get to bring a bit of fun for a couple of hours, then I'm more than happy with that. and they bring me so much love and joy. So I get more, I think they don't realise I get more out of it than they do. So it's like therapy to me, football is. So the fact that now we get to bring it to more women, and especially like disabilities as well, it's just amazing. And I'm just grateful that I get to be in the position that I am, really.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I'm huge on representation and the kids being able to see like yourself and then the other ladies in the team
Yeah.
competing at the level that you guys are. Must be like really powerful for them.
Yeah,
Be able
well, a
to-
lot of our coaches are two-legged. You know, you don't have to be disabled to be able to coach disabled people, which goes without saying. I coach all abled people better than most abled people, so just saying. But the first time I went to a junior camp, I just had these girls that were looking up at me like, because I was the first female coach that was there, and I was an amputee, so they got to see me doing what I was doing. You know, I don't wear a prosthetic, so I'm always on my crutches. And it's to then see the girls take their prosthetics off and just go on their crutches. It means more than most things. Like, it just brings me so much love, and just their little faces looking up at you. It makes every day that I spend in bed resting in pain, it makes it so worth it, because they're the days that I really look forward to the most. And now that the other girls are getting involved as well, they're seeing more women be involved, and the numbers are just improving every camp. So it's just amazing to see, and it's an amazing story to start. You know, we're just the start of the history, but this book's going to be never ending now. So it's just going to be incredible to see in 5 years what we have set up, because it really is going to be something that, you know, I've dreamt of for years that we would have that opportunity to have. So now that it's there, it's just, incredible. And these young girls that get to come and see what we do and see that, you know, amputation, a disability, no matter what it is, whether you're neurospicy, wherever you're, you know, physically disabled, whatever it may be, you know, love football and be yourself. So I love bringing football to those that didn't think they could play football. So I just absolutely love it, and get to bring them that happy place. Then I'm happy. My job's well done.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I used to play football at school, obviously with a group of non-disabled people,
Yeah,
and I used to love it. And I never thought about my arm in that situation, obviously
yeah,
upper limb difference, until I started talking to yourself and your team and learning all the rules of amputee
yeah,
football. So, like, could you, for our listeners, kind of run through those rules a little bit? Because
yeah,
a lot of people
absolutely.
haven't seen it.
So when we get you down playing, you're going to be one of the goalkeepers.
That's
Um,
where I go.
yeah. So the goalkeepers are two-legged. They can be one-legged if they wear a prosthetic. So you normally so we've got some goalkeepers that do wear a prosthetic, but also obviously have the limb difference as well, upper body. So when is yours your right side?
Yes. Think about that. Then
You
I was
can't
like,
even do that to.
does it? Yeah.
But yeah, so they have their limb under the shirt, so that it's, you know, you don't get to use the extra bit of limb that you've got. So you've only got the one side. So, you know, Tate, who's our current goalkeeper, and Sasha, they have their arms strapped to them just so that they don't instinctively kind of. So so that's kind of the goalkeepers. They can't come out the box, so they can't like get the ball and just run off with it and be like, so they stay within the box, and just the one arm is out of the shirt. And then the on-field players are those with a lower limb difference, and those on crutches. These bad boys, my little chopsticks that hold my whole body up, which is kind of scary. So the on-field players, you know, use crutches. If the ball hits the crutch, it's handball. as it's kind of an extension of your hand. And as well with your limb. So I'm quite lucky because Bruce is quite little, but some of the girls have, just a below knee amputation. So they've got more of a limb than I do. But if the ball hits the limb, it's a handball as well, to make it completely fair, because obviously, like, same with the arm, if you use your extra limb, it's a bit unfair because Bruce can't reach. So it makes sense. So if it hits, your remaining limb or your crutches, it's a handball. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of, you play on the crutches outfield, and yeah, it's good fun. You can't like slide tackle, you don't do throw-ins because that would be quite interesting with some crutches. Just so we do kick-ins from the side, and then the rules are pretty similar. So in football in general, we aim to get the ball in the net, which is always good. The pitches are smaller than an 11-a-side, and our goals are like a 9-a-side, 7-a-side, 9-a-side size. So the pitch isn't little, especially for when you're running on crutches. Definitely doesn't feel little at all. But it takes a lot of upper body strength and a lot of trust in sticks that you don't normally put a lot of trust in. So it takes a lot of confidence in a sense of, relying on your sticks, being able to, commit to these challenges, which is how I got my concussion, because I'd committed to a challenge and then my stick was taken out. So as I went down, I hit the back of my head on the back bit just there. So yeah, a bit sore. But I did have the 2 legs for like a couple of seconds. So only because I was double vision, but that's not the point. It was, I had 2 legs again. So not the way I wanted to have 2 legs, but beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, so that's pretty much kind of a lot of the rules around it. And
Oh, cool. Yeah, and like, so how do you train? And like you said, you have to kind of learn to put a lot of faith in your crutches. Like, how do you train for that? Because yeah, I can imagine it's so intense, like 90 minutes.
yeah, I'm quite lucky in the sense of when it comes to being on my crutches, because I can't wear a prosthetic, I'm always on my crutches. I don't use a wheelchair or anything like that. I've now been solely on my crutches for 4 or 5 years now. So that has helped me massively, because I would take the dog out and we go for miles at a time, walking on my crutches. So a lot of the girls that have grown up wearing a prosthetic or use a prosthetic all the time, it comes with a lot of practice, getting used to your crutches. It took me a while to be confident on my crutches, and it took me a while to get to a stage where I was like, oh, actually, I can do this. And even now, I still learn new things. The lads are always giving us tips and tricks and stuff like that. So it takes a lot, and the girls are doing a lot of on crutch training, going out. We're all dotted around the country. So we meet up at camps in Crewe, and then we try and meet up with each other the best we can, kind of locally to where we are. So we go for kickabouts, but yeah, the girls have just been working non-stop. They have full-time jobs and stuff like that. So they're putting in these hours and putting in this crutch practice, in their own time while being parents and stuff like that. So yeah, they're just incredible. Like, I'm a parent to a dog and I find it hard enough. So the fact that they're parents to actual human beings, as you know, they're a bit different to dogs. So but yeah, so it just comes with a lot of practice and getting used to them. And, the coaches say, even if you go to the shop on your crutches, just getting those 20 minutes in a day, it will, make a difference. So yeah, it's just a lot of time, which sometimes you don't have. We've got girls that started 2 months ago, but the journey they've come on so far has just been amazing. And to show what hard work can do, really. And they're now coming to the World Cup, so it's just incredible that we get to share that journey together, and go get to change history. It's just been going to be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's really cool, and it's really cool to like kind of see it growing. I've met quite a few people from different sports recently
Mm.
and seen either they're at the beginning of their journey
Yeah,
or they're on the other side of it. So like someone else started the journey and now they've
yeah,
just come back to something. And it's wild how like one little seed can like develop into something so huge. So
yeah. One little loudmouth, and this is what you get.
you have
So
to take
yeah,
it
no, it's
from
been
them.
amazing, and hopefully, it will become a Paralympic sport, which would be incredible. And after the World Cup, I do have to step away as a player, just due to my own health concerns, stuff like that. But I'll be still coaching, and being around, so I'll still be there. It's just in a different role, sort of. So I'm just so excited to kind of see where this goes. Seeing our little ones come up is just going to be, it's going to blow me away, and just see it get, now I get to watch them on their journey. I had my journey. I have kind of, for the last 5 years, played with the lads, and, just built myself up to a stage where I can now give back. And a lot of the girls like ask me for tips and tricks on crutches, and that's my favorite role, is to be there, to be that voice to help out. Because like I say, with two-legged coaches, as good as they are, teaching amputee football, there's only some things you only get from being an amputee on crutches. So it's nice that I get to kind of pass on that knowledge and show them the best way to kind of kick it, or try and, like, even just trust in your crutch a bit more. So like when you go to kick the ball, if you want a decent strike, you kind of, your foot goes out first. So if you don't move your crutch further out, like I've done many times, I've kicked my own crutch and landed on my head. So not an ideal thing to do. But because I've done that, I can now show them, and they can start trusting their crutch a bit further out, And yeah, so far, touch wood, no one has wiped themselves other than me. So I'm happy with that. So if I get to help them not make the mistakes that I made, because although I had, the lads to talk to, I struggled asking for help and stuff like that. So I've always kind of relied on myself, in a sense. Like even growing up, I, relied on myself a lot. So I definitely I push myself in ways that I don't think anyone else can, because I'm very self-critical and stuff like that. So I do like to give myself a bit of a hard time. But yeah, now the girls are there, and it's just, yeah, an incredible journey to share and get to see them. I'm going to be on the other side of it, in the sense of I get to watch now their journeys come through, and it's just an honor to even be there, and to be the first person that was kind of like, it's something that I absolutely love, and it's something that can't be kind of taken away from me, in a sense of, I was the first, so I'm pretty happy with it.
The legacy, for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. And yeah, like what was your experience outside of sport with disability? Because like you said before, you were non-disabled, healthy 19-year-old, and then went on such a journey and came out the other end, an
Yeah.
amputee who was still super passionate about football. But then, like, yeah, how have you found the world with a disability?
It was definitely difficult at the beginning. I was, engaged. I had two stepchildren, so to go from running around with them, playing in the park, doing all these things with them, to just being sat in a wheelchair really hit hard. That was definitely like the thing I struggled with the most, because I'm so active. Like even outside of football itself, I was always so active. I was always out doing things, and I've got nieces and nephews, and I was always out, being that loony auntie that everybody loves to have. So that was definitely coming to terms with that. Okay, this is my new life, was really difficult. Even after the first cancer, I was still able-bodied, but my body wasn't the same. It'd gone through such a tough journey through the cancer, and I still struggle with, long-term effects now. And their lifetime effects, unfortunately, and side effects and stuff like that. So it was a lot to come to terms with, more mentally than physically, because even physically, I was, even with, you know, a paralyzed leg, or I was still trying to do things, even though I probably shouldn't have, because I needed to rest. But I'm not very good at doing that. So being out and about was definitely my kind of savior. But it was definitely difficult to come to terms with to begin with. You know, getting used to places not being fully accessible. And when I was in my wheelchair, because, you know, first 3 years I was in a chair. And it wasn't until, you know, 3 years in that I started going on crutches more and building up kind of my strength and stuff like that. So it was hard to get my head around, for sure. And just getting used to the new life that I had, it was completely different to the previous one. So I feel like I've been on different life journeys, sort of thing. You know, it was the pre-cancer to the after the first cancer, to my body's not quite the same, but I'm okay, to, you know, being quite poorly and going down the scary route, sort of thing. So now that I get to be on the other side of it, it took, like I say, a lot of time to come around to. But it's something now I love. You know, I love being disabled, weirdly enough. You know, blue badges come very handy. So there are definitely perks to it. But yeah, it did take a long time to come to terms with what my new life was. So it's something, like I say, now I love. I really do love it. And being an advocate for, you know, other disabled people, and getting their stories out there, and getting our voices out there in general as disabled people, it's definitely something my voice comes in handy for. But yeah, so it was definitely a lot to, you know, come to terms with, but it's definitely something I love now. But I think it weren't so much the being disabled, it was not being able to do anything that was the hard part. You know, I'm disabled now, but I'm able to do things, so I love it. So I think it was definitely the bed bound, not being able to be my normal me, kind of what was the most difficult part of it. And that's why I love, you know, talking to new amputees and stuff like that, because I've got a tattoo on my arm that I've had, you know, it was my second ever tattoo, and it says every new day is another battle won, because it really is, you know, seeing tomorrow's never promised. And whether that's a physical battle, a mental battle, it's, life isn't easy. It is difficult. So waking up every day is definitely sometimes hard. You know, I still spend some days in bed, and most days I'm able to, you know, get out and about and do the things I love, go into schools, do assemblies. So yeah, there's definitely, it's just finding that balance, I think, of resting, being active, but giving myself enough rest, because, you know, my body doesn't work like it used to. So I have to, it's taken a long time to find that balance, but I think I'm just about there. So that's why I'm glad that I can then help other people, like, find their balance, or, you know, just give them tips and stuff like that to help them through. So I definitely love being an advocate and disabled and stuff like that. So yeah, it took a long time, but it's definitely something I love now.
Yeah, yeah, some hard fought wisdom to be able to pass on as well. So makes it feel more worth it, doesn't it? When you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you do like school assemblies and stuff as well.
Yeah, so we run a local club that runs a football club for children with special needs, or, you know, low self-esteem, not very confident. We've got non-verbal, we've got, you know, kids with cerebral palsy, and it's just an open club for children that just want to play football and have fun. It's not based on, you know, competitiveness. You know, some of these kids had never played in a proper football match, or they had never been part of a team, or they had been to a local club and not felt welcome, or, you know, if their kid isn't up to where everybody else is. Kids can be not ideal. They can be kind of mean. So a lot of the kids that struggled in mainstream like clubs come over to us, and, you know, we started with 3 kids and we hit over 100. So it was amazing to see just how needed it was locally. And we kind of was able to then expand that out to kind of further out from just Bedford. So it's been amazing. And those kids just do like give me so much love, and they feel at home there. The kid and parents as well. They're not used to, if their kids having, for example, a sensory overload and they're starting to shut down. I'm like, stay there, sit down. If let me try. If Because I get to know the kids so well that I'm like, if I can't calm them down or deal with it, give me a couple of minutes and then come over. And 9 times out of 10, we're all good. We resolve whatever was getting them anxious, or whatever it was, and they get back involved and we get playing. And it's something that the parents don't often get to do, so it's nice that we're able to kind of give them that time that they get to watch and enjoy their children play football without worrying about people looking at them if the kids having like sense or stims or anything like that. It's just a club that anyone can feel at home, whether disabled or not. And it's a big family that the kids love having. So it's amazing to see their family bond together, and it's just amazing to see them become a little family. They now have what I had growing up. So it's nice that I get to give back to not just able-bodied people, but disabled as well. And it's definitely one of my passions that I love doing. And I go into schools and deliver sessions to those children, and then they end up coming to the session. So it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and like I think in terms of like sports and like inclusive spaces, I had this chat with someone recently, and I find it quite interesting because it's like I feel like both are good to have
Yeah,
kind of places that are just general places for sport,
yeah,
which are inclusive, like just generally they welcome people in, and having a safe space that's just for people with disabilities, I think is really special too, because then you can just maybe it's you go into football in that safe space
yeah,
first,
absolutely, yeah,
get comfortable, and then you can branch out into the clubs that have like it's mostly non-disabled space with confidence. But I think
yeah,
sometimes it's really scary,
absolutely.
right, to just jump straight into that.
Yeah, no, we love it, and the kids absolutely love it. And we arrange, every term we arrange a. We've got another send team, pan disability team over in Sheffield, so we arrange meetups. So some of these kids had their first ever football match, and we did a presentation at the end of the year. So it was, it's just amazing to be able to share experiences that I got to have with the kids. And we've got teenagers that never felt comfortable going to football, so the fact that we get to be that space for them just means the absolute world. And some of them then go, like you say, go play in able body spaces and have that confidence to do so. So it's nice that we get to play that role in that kind of bridge between disabled and abled, because I do feel sometimes that bridge is so separated that I feel like I'm quite fortunate that I get to have the, like, I don't know what the word is, but kind of seeing it from both sides, because I was able bodied, now I'm disabled, so I get to bring those experiences and kind of gel them together. So it's definitely something that, another thing that I'm fortunate to have. A lot of people don't always get that. So it's something that I don't take these things lightly. I do, with every passion that I've got, like to give back in the best way I can. Because I wouldn't be here if other people hadn't got me through it. So it's only right that I, do what I can to help anybody else.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What would you say to someone who wants to give football a go?
Honestly, just give it a go. If you don't find the space the first time that you're fully yourself, keep looking, because there's so many teams out there, so many, experienced kind of disability coaches. And I think that's something they do need to bring into when you do your coaching badges. It's not a subject that's very touched on. So a lot of coaches don't have experience or knowledge teaching anyone with special needs or a disability. So I do think that's something that can be brought together within having that you know, experience not just coaching able-bodied, but, you know, disabled as well, because then you can bring in those disabled people into the able-bodied space. So it's definitely something that can be brought together, and I think in the future will be. It's something I definitely want to kind of bring forward to the table. But yeah, just give it a go. Reach out as well. That's the perk of social media. You can find people that are just like us, and just like yourselves. And we've got people on, you know, the England team that me and Annabelle, we had cancer, and you've got people that were born with limb differences. You've had people that had trauma, or there's just so many stories and so many things to kind of bond with people. And you think if you don't meet many people that are in your situation, but then when you reach out and you meet someone that is, that bond that you have instantly is, you know, is really special. So yeah, just don't give up. Find your people basically, and find the space that you're fully yourself, and get to enjoy football. So yeah, it's just something that I'd say give it a go. Take the ball outside. Just kick a ball about.
Yeah, find your tribe. I like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, I cannot wait to follow along. It's when you're at the World Cup. I'll be doing that on social media. Will it be on telly as well, or any? Like, will it be anywhere
So we
YouTube?
don't think it's going to be on telly, but it will be. It's not been fully confirmed, but it's usually streamed on YouTube and on the World Amputee Association Facebook page as well. So that's where it's normally streamed. So hopefully, once we get the streams, we will, you know, share them out across all social media. So it will definitely be there to watch, and it's just going to be an absolute joy to be able to go out there and represent our little island. So go make a big impact.
Yeah, definitely. Go make history, like you said.
Oh yeah, and
So
just
good.
make memories of a lifetime with these girls. And we're a family, so it's just going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Well, good luck
Oh
with
yeah,
you all, and we'll be cheering you on from home. And I'll share all the links on our platforms as well, so people will be able to click through
amazing.
and watch as well. So
Well, thanks for
yeah,
having me,
been a pleasure. And I'll
and
speak to you
we will
soon.
have a catch up after we bring some medals back. Hopefully,
So bring
we're
up
going there
the
for the memories, but the medals would be good too.
set. Yeah, they will
But
get me in goal.
they will definitely come eventually. They will come. It's the
Yeah,
process that we're
definitely.
on, and we just can't wait for the journey that we've got ahead of us.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much.